Hey everyone, how you doing? Welcome to Arsenal Fan TV, and in this video I'm going to bring you my thoughts on our 2-1 victory at Selhurst Park this afternoon. I was going to start this video off by saying that this was really a game of two halves, but in all honesty it wasn't. Crystal Palace tended to dominate this game for a majority of it, and that became even more noticeable in that second half. Thankfully this game didn't end in a 2-2 draw, which it quite easily could have done. Glenn Murray coming very close, hitting the bar right at the end of the game just before scoring that goal, which was, it seemed a consolation at first, but Palace really did do themselves proud today. I've got to be honest, I think they played some really good football under Pardew. They looked incredibly dominant in spells of the game, and they really did run themselves ragged. They looked very committed, and it's good to see that kind of commitment from a team, and they certainly made it very difficult for us throughout the majority of that game. The team that we lined up with was certainly an exciting one. I think bringing in Danny Welbeck, I was going to say bringing him in for Theo Walcott, but actually Welbeck is starting to cement a place in the team now. He started against Bury, he started today. Fantastic for his self-belief and confidence, and I can totally understand why he was playing. He was, in my opinion, man of the match today. He tracks back really well. He was involved in both of the goals that we scored. He works tirelessly for the team. Yeah, he's finishing the one thing that he does need to improve to become a complete player. But apart from that, his all-round game, commitment, and, you know, compliment to the team is just second to none. He's a class act for us. He's still relatively young. He can. I don't know if he's going to be the player that everyone thought he was when he came to the club, and people were saying that he might emulate Thierry Henry, but he's a great player to have in the squad, and I think that in these games away from home, where it is going to be a little bit more intense, he's certainly a good player to bring in for Theo Walcott, and Walcott's the kind of player who can start the home games. It's great to have the variety and squad depth within the side. We also saw Jack Wilshere come into the team today. He started on the bench. It's just great to have him in and around the squad. I mean, he's really got to focus himself to Arsenal at the moment, kind of just avert his social life from things and just get all that smoking stuff behind him and just focus on Arsenal, and hopefully he can have a good end to the season for us. I mean, he's got like 3 months left to prove himself, and with Ramsey out for a couple more weeks, he can become a pivotal figure in the Arsenal team. But aside from that, Coughlin returned into the middle of the park. He had a great game today. There were a few times when he did make a few mishaps, but apart from that, a relatively solid performance from him. Not too much I can criticise, and I would certainly have him in there over Flamini or Arteta at the moment. He's proven to be such a sturdy player in the midfield for us. So it was a good team that we lined up with. The game started relatively quickly. I mean, we literally hoofed the ball up right to the Crystal Palace end, and then they came back right at us, and it started off very quickly, certainly a lot quicker than I would have expected it to. Palace, they really wanted to get at us from the get-go and get an early goal. That became obvious. They were enjoying good spells of the game, but they were enjoying possession, but they weren't really doing anything with it. I don't think they tested Ospina in the first 7-8 minutes until the build-up to our goal, which was a great goal for us to get, because arguably it was against the run of play. I don't particularly agree with the commentators in saying that Palace had dominated the game as such, because they did, although they had possession, they weren't breaching our defence and they didn't really trouble us too much. We lined up in a similar fashion to how we did against Manchester City a couple of weeks ago, and it certainly, well, a couple of weeks ago, a month ago now, it kind of emulated that performance in a way, but against a lower level of opposition. But that's not to question Crystal Palace, because like I've already mentioned, they were absolute class today. We did get the goal through Santi Cazorla. Danny Welbeck, commitment was absolutely spot on. Was it a penalty? Wasn't it? It was on the line. I mean, it's a really difficult one for the official to call. The linesman waved for a penalty. The referee gave it, and you know, you're going to have decisions in the football game that are going to go with you, and you're going to have ones that go against you. A prime example was the decision that went against us today. Mesut Ozil scored a goal that was onside, and it was flagged for offside. So, you know, yin and yang, it's that kind of thing. And it was a great commitment by Welbeck, a fantastic penalty by Santi Cazorla to make it 1-0. Whether it was in the box or not, it was 1-0 to us, and I couldn't really be too fussed after that. That's just for people to speculate on, and I guarantee you that will be the major talking point on Match of the Day this evening. Apart from that though, we didn't really look at times like we were going to get a second goal. We were enjoying spells of the game where we were playing some good football. We looked excellent on the counter-attack today. I thought we looked absolutely superb. Mesut Ozil was running things in the midfield along with Santi Cazorla. This 4-1-4-1 is working brilliantly for us at the moment. 2 banks of 4, and with the bank of 4 moving a bit higher up the pitch, we've got Ozil and Cazorla through the middle, and Welbeck and Alexis on the flanks. It's just working superbly, and Giroud looks very, very composed up there at the top end of the field. So that was really great to see. But we weren't really getting in control of the game. Crystal Palace certainly had a foothold in it, and they kind of looked like the more likely team to score. But I still think we defended resolutely, and up until the end of the first half, it didn't really look like anyone was going to score until Olivier Giroud made it 2-0 to us, and it came at the exact time that we needed it, right before the whistle for the first half. Great work by Danny Welbeck, yet again firing his shot at Speroni. Giroud was on hand to make it 2-0. Giroud hadn't had the best of first half, I've got to be honest. I was going to get on his back a little bit because he hadn't really influenced the game in any way, but certainly he worked very hard for this goal, in the right place at the right time. Couldn't really have missed. 2-0, can't complain going into the second half. And Palace really came at us in that second half. They played some really intense football, back to the walls for us really for the whole of that second half. And there were times when you feel that there maybe could have been a red card in the game. You feel that maybe Palace were rather unlucky. Zaha on Monreal for the majority of that first half especially was seeming to be a problem to us, and I think maybe in the game against Monaco I would feel a bit more comfortable with Kieran Gibbs starting the game. I certainly felt that we were a bit more defensively stable when we did bring Kieran Gibbs into the frame of things. But Monreal, credit to him, he's done really well for us in recent months, and he's done really well this season. Probably one of the most improved players at Arsenal today. He's bound to have an off performance at some point. Unfortunately that was today, but credit to Zaha because he kept on him and he had a really good game of football. I think the whole real dynamics of the game changed when they brought Balassi on, who I think really caused our defence a lot of problems. He ran at our defence. I don't think that's what players like Mertesacker particularly wanted, and that's why we saw the introduction of Gabriel towards the latter stages of the game. Balassi was causing us quite a few problems. If he had his shooting boots on, it could quite easily have been 2-1 a lot earlier in the game, but unfortunately for Crystal Palace they didn't get their goal right into stoppage time through Glenn Murray, which was a really sloppy goal to concede. A lot of our corners were poorly defended there. If we were playing against a better opposition, then we could quite easily have conceded a few more, and that's something that we've got to really work on. Ospina had a few mishaps, but I think there are times when Ospina makes some absolutely superb saves. Got to stop going for the spectacular at times. I mean, that punch just over the head of Mertesacker was something that needs to be addressed. He's got to command his box a little bit better. I still think he does it a little bit better than Chesney, but it's really starting to heat up now, that competition for the #1 spot at Arsenal. But it's great to have this competition, this depth within the squad at the moment. We've come out today with a solid 2-0 win. It wasn't the most convincing performance, but with Man United losing to Swansea, with Chelsea drawing, not that that really matters, but the Man United result is the important one. That's going to do us a whole world of good, and it's we move up to third now in the Premier League. Southampton and Liverpool play each other, so one of them is going to drop points. That's only going to do us more good, and we're in a good position at the moment. We've got Monaco next in the Champions League. Thoroughly looking forward to that game, and we should be I'm hoping for a good convincing win in that game, but this is a massive 3 points for us. It's one of the more difficult away trips of the Premier League campaign, and I'm glad that we got it out of the way. We've got Everton at home next. They're playing not the best of football, so I think that we should be able to beat them. But it's a good win today, certainly a good win. One thing I just quickly did want to address, the preview for this game. I know that I certainly didn't show the enthusiasm in it that I would have wanted to. Please just let me stress that I was like looking around universities all day. I had a very long week of work. I was extremely tired at the time. It's really hard to really make YouTube my priority when I've got everything else going on. But I did want to deliver some content to you, so I just really wanted to justify myself in that respect. But anyway guys, those have been my thoughts on the game against Crystal Palace this afternoon at Selhurst Park. A great 2-1 victory for the Arsenal. We move on now to the Champions League, where hopefully we can get another convincing victory. It's really looking on the up for us now. We've still got Gnabry to come back, we've still got Chamberlain to come back, we've still got Ramsey to come back. We've got some excellent players coming back into the fold of things, and we've already got an excellent squad at our disposal at the moment. Things are really starting to click for us, and hopefully we can finish this campaign strongly. It's another great result for us. But those have been my thoughts. If you've enjoyed the video, smash that like button, subscribe to Arsenal Fan TV, and make sure you do check out my own channel, AFC Game by Game. I'll speak to you very soon, guys.
It's not fantastic. Now, come on, let's get. We're not playing fantastic football. We're playing good football. It's not fantastic football.
It's not fantastic football. It's not fantastic football. It's not fantastic football. It's not fantastic.